Hey, how you doing? This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show. And I wanted to show you a failure. This is an antenna failure. It's really my failure, and I'm going to show you what the problem is here. I have had this antenna up for about 35 years. It's just a long wire antenna. It's about 35 feet long, and the problem is, it was given to me by my father-in-law. And the problem is that the wire gauge is about a 12 or 10 gauge solid wire, which means it's extremely heavy. And when you string out 35 feet of number 12 or number 10 gauge wire, you got a lot of weight there hanging up. And I tie it off with this fairly heavy nylon rope, and it stretches from a push-up pole to another pole in my backyard. And we've been having quite a bit of heavy wind, and I'm saying wind gust up to 30-35 miles an hour. And this antenna has broken that rope a couple of different times. Now, and you don't need that heavy a gauge wire. It's probably just wire he had, and he had it set up and then took it down and he gave it to me. So that's number one. You don't need that heavy a gauge wire. 16 gauge, that's plenty. A lot less weight that you're going to have hanging up in the air. The other thing is, I could fix this and leave the same wire if I would use a pulley system at the end where this rope is tied, and have this rope go through a pulley and then have a weight on the end of the pulley, so that way there is some give to the antenna when the wind starts blowing. That's one way I could fix it. Again, this is way too high a gauge or low gauge wire. So I've decided I'm not going to put it up again. It's been a good antenna, but I'm not going to put it up again. I'm going to try to replace it with another antenna, much lower gauge. Another way you could install this heavy, and probably you should use it on any of your wire antennas, is to use springs. Put a spring on the end. Again, that will allow the antenna to flex in the wind. So this has been a failure for me. I've known what's wrong, I just haven't corrected it. Now, while I'm back here, oh, there's one of our cats. We now have 4 cats. We're a sucker for taking cats that people don't want anymore. So that's why we have 4. We normally only have 2, but now we have 4. That's one of them. So see if I can turn around here. My G5RV antenna, which I've mentioned several times, is mounted up there on the peak of the roof. There's a discone antenna up there, which I use for my marine monitoring station. And then just below that is the G5RV, which goes down to the front yard and comes down over to the backyard. A total of 120 feet. And it goes down to that pole right there, which is the same pole that the antenna I showed you a few minutes ago was attached to. And you can see maybe there's the rest of the rope that broke. It's about the 3rd time in 3 months. Like I say, we've had a lot of high winds. Also, I can show you, there's what's left of a disc cone antenna that's been up for about 30 years, and a lot of the radios, the ones pointing down, which are the long ones, have broke off, so it's kind of ineffective. Here is a 6-meter amateur radio antenna. This is a directional antenna. I haven't had that up in years. Probably still in good shape, but well, one of my biggest problems is I can't get on the roof anymore to put these antennas up, so I have to depend on somebody else. While we're looking, there's some more of my antenna farm up there. There's, let me see if I can kind of stabilize myself a little bit and I can zoom in. Ouch. Right, where'd it go? Right there is another disc cone antenna. That one goes upstairs to my office upstairs. Behind that, that's the marine band antenna, the vertical one there, that the university that sent me the radio for monitoring vessels at sea, they sent that antenna with it. That antenna is designed for the marine band frequencies. Back there is my experiment that didn't go very well. That is, the small one is actually what they call is a Hdtv antenna. Well, to my knowledge, there's no such thing as an Hdtv antenna. There's just TV antennas. And I got that with the idea, it has a preamp in it, and it has a rotor, so it rotates. I was thinking that maybe I can use it to receive the military aircraft band up at 300 megahertz. One thing that I didn't think about when I put it up is I probably should have mounted it so that it was a vertical antenna, not a horizontal antenna. The two big beams you see are my old, what they call Oscar antennas, to work the amateur radio Oscar satellites. Typically, they have a upload frequency in the 2 megahertz band and a download frequency for reception on 70 centimeters. And that's why there's two beams, each of them cut and designed for the two different bands. And that's on a rotor, which both change in elevation and changes in azimuth, but it doesn't work anymore. Okay, trying to just give you, since I was out here, I gave you a summary of my antennas. This one, that pole right there, that short pole is just used to get my cable over there. This one here is my 31-foot, and boy, it goes way up there, vertical antenna from MFJ. And that thing is working exceptional. There's a base of it where there's a junction box. I can't get that off. I got it covered up with plastic. A junction box there to match the impedance, and then that's the coax that goes up to that pole and then goes across over into my workshop. Mass of wires right there. There's another shot of that Hdtv antenna, and one more I'll show you and then I'll call this quits. There is the in-fed antenna that goes out to that tree. It's about 50 feet long, and that's the one I was trying to use on the previous video. It wasn't doing too good. Maybe I've got a loose connection or something. I'll have to check that. Like I say, we've had some severe winds in the past 6 weeks or so. So that's added complications. Up there you see that thin rope that's used to hoist antennas for temporary testing. So that's it. Mainly I want to show you is my failure on my long wire, which as I said before, what I'm going to do is take that down finally now that it's halfway down and replace it with a much smaller gauge. I'll probably use an in-fed antenna. Coming in this direction, which this is that I'm pointing now southwest. That's a pretty good reception direction for me. So I want to get that antenna, or some antenna, put back up here. It starts at that pole right, oops, that's the power pole, right there, where that disc cone antenna is connected. So it was connected to the base of that antenna. Okay, that's it. That's a few of my antennas. Oh, there's another. Here's another one. Here's another disc cone antenna. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is, right there. And there is another broken, similar to a G5RV, but not identical. And it's broken. One half is broke off. The other half is going into the tree. So it's pretty useless. It's not even connected. Again, I have to get some help to work on antennas anymore, because I'm not allowed to get up there. I'm not allowed to get on the roof, and I'm definitely not allowed to get up on the second story. So that's where I'm at. If you enjoyed this show, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.